Hey guys, so today I have kind of a not fun video to make. We miscarried again. Right before Veda, so right at the very end of March, we found out that we were expecting baby number 2 after exactly 2 years of trying. So we were extremely excited and it was kind of unbelievable. I mean, because once you've been trying for so long, like when you finally get that positive, you're like, no way. Um, so yeah. We found out at the end of March, and then in April, when I was about, I think it was 11 weeks, when we found out officially that baby didn't make it. From the very beginning, I kind of always had this funky feeling like something was gonna go wrong. I had that same feeling when I got pregnant the first time. My first pregnancy ended in miscarriage, and the whole time I was pregnant, I just felt like something was wrong. And it wasn't because there was actually any physical thing going on wrong. I mean, I had no cramping, there was no spotting, there was nothing like that. It was just a mommy feeling that something was not right. And then obviously in the end something was not right. Well, when I got pregnant the second time with my son Ian, I really never had that feeling like something was gonna go wrong. I kind of felt confident and just good feelings about his pregnancy the whole time. And I had a normal, completely healthy pregnancy with my son. Well, this time when I got pregnant, I had that bad feeling again. I just felt like something was gonna go wrong. I just didn't feel like this pregnancy was gonna happen. Around 8 weeks, 8 or 9 weeks, maybe it was the end of 8 weeks, I'm not quite sure, but it was around there. I had gone to the bathroom and there was a little bit of pink. It was kind of like a pinkish brown, kind of like old blood when your period's pretty much done. That is what it was when I wiped. It wasn't like a bunch coming out. It wasn't on my underwear. It wasn't on anything like that. It's just, I tinkled, and when I wiped, I noticed that it was just kind of a pinkish brown. I immediately just kind of started crying because the whole time I had felt like something was wrong, and then now I've got this pinkish brown old blood, and I didn't bleed with my first pregnancy that I had a miscarriage, and I also didn't bleed with my son. So bleeding, I know, can be normal for a lot of women during pregnancy, but not for me. I'd never had it before, and I know every pregnancy is different, but it still was scary since it never happened to me before. So I cried. Neil was upset. Just from that little bit of something, we kind of just thought that we miscarried. So we cried that night. The next day, I called my doctor's office and I begged about like 3 or 4 different people on the phone to please just give me an early ultrasound. I said, I think I'm miscarrying. And if that's what's happening, that's fine, but I just need to know. I begged, but it is just their policy not to do an ultrasound in the first trimester, so they refused. They told me that most likely everything was fine. However, if I was miscarrying, checking for heartbeat or giving me an ultrasound wasn't going to change the outcome, that they can't do anything in the first trimester to prevent it, so they just don't check. So anyways, we found an elective ultrasound place out in town. So we went in and I had a very bad feeling. I just felt like we weren't going to see a heartbeat or we weren't going to see baby or whatever. I was expecting the worst. However, she put the ultrasound, it was the abdominal one, and immediately I saw uterus, I saw a sac, and I saw a baby. And the baby looked about the size of what an 8 to 9 week baby should look like. She was going really fast because the ultrasound package I had gotten was only for 15 minutes and I was late. So I think she only gave me like a 2 to 3 minute ultrasound. It was so quick. So she was kind of just speeding all over the place. So I did see the baby, but as for the heartbeat, she was like, okay, well, there's the heartbeat. And then she was off to another place and she's like, head, rump, and she just kept moving. And I thought I may have seen the heartbeat, but I really wasn't sure because she's going so fast. And Neil said he did not see heartbeat because she was going so fast. But we believed her. She said she saw it. She was the ultrasound tech, so we just believed her. So we left that appointment feeling positive. And we were 10 weeks and some odd days, right before 11 weeks, we went back just because we wanted to see baby again. We had a different ultrasound tech, and that lady said that she did not see anything in my uterus at all. She said that she saw a sac, but no placenta, no baby, nothing. She ended up calling my doctor's office, and they went ahead and gave me an early ultrasound. They checked for heartbeat first. There was no heartbeat. Then they did an abdominal ultrasound. They saw the same thing she did. There was no baby in there. They did a vaginal ultrasound still. They didn't tell me when they were looking at the ultrasound. They just told me they didn't see baby. But at the time, they had gotten concerned about something, but they just didn't share it with me. Then they sent me down to radiology to just kind of confirm again what they had seen. So I went down to radiology, had another vaginal ultrasound, and then the lady took the results to another doctor who kind of looked over the results, and she came back in and she's like, yeah, okay, so we're all in agreement that there is no baby in your uterus. So they sent me home basically to miscarry on my own. Well, a few days later, I got a call, and they told me that after reviewing my ultrasound some more, they saw something in my fallopian tube, very small. They weren't sure what it was. They also said they saw 2 complex cysts on my left ovary, very large cysts. They were actually kind of shocked that I was not in excruciating pain based on the size of them. They were like, are you sure you're not in pain? Because these are big. And they told me I needed to come in for an emergency D&C because they did not, my HCG level was where it should be at 11 weeks, but yet they saw no baby, and they did see a small something. They thought they saw a small something in my fallopian tube, so they thought that I was possibly having an ectopic pregnancy, so they wanted me to come in to have a D&C. So I came in the next day, and just basically the doctor came in and just reiterated what the nurse had told me on the phone. She said that they did want to look into the cysts. However, she was pretty sure that after the D&C, the cysts would go down. She said usually cysts can sometimes grow when you're pregnant. She said and sometimes they shrink back down when you're no longer pregnant. And since they weren't giving me any pain, she said they weren't that concerned about it at that moment. What they were concerned about was a possible ectopic pregnancy, and so she said she really wanted to give me a D&C to make sure that that's what it was. So Neil and Ian kind of just waited in the waiting room. I went back by myself because they weren't allowed back there, and one guy came in to do my IV, but he wasn't sure why I was in there, and so I was crying because I was so nervous, and he, to cheer me up, decided to tell me about his pregnant wife, which didn't bother me, but he, after he was talking all about his pregnant wife and all kinds of stuff, and then he goes, so, why are you in here? And I was like, well, I miscarried, so I'm having a D&C. Oh my gosh, his face was just, he was like, oh, cheese and crackers, foot in my mouth, I am so sorry. And then, the anesthesiologist came in, and he was just awesome. He's this old guy, and he was telling me jokes, and it just took my mind off of it. And then my doctor came in and was basically just like, okay, we're gonna go down now. What I remembered immediately coming out of anesthesia was that they wheeled me down to the OR. They asked me to get from the bed that they wheeled me on onto the operating table, and that was the last thing I remembered. Next thing I know, I wake up and I am in recovery, and there's a nurse next to me, and I'm just telling her how beautiful her nails are, and then I fell back asleep, and then an hour later, Neil and Ian came back. The nurse gave me a RhoGAM shot because I am Rh negative, which means I have a negative blood type. So I always have to get a RhoGAM shot whenever I am pregnant or give birth or have a miscarriage or anything like that. I have to get a RhoGAM shot. So yeah, so then I was basically discharged. They gave me ibuprofen and Percocet, and they told me that I was going to have aches and pains, and that if I had any pain that was so bad that the Percocet wasn't taking care of it, that I should come back in. First week I just had some light bleeding, and that was pretty much it. Very light cramping, no bigs. That's what I expected with a DNC. The second week took a turn. I had very heavy bleeding, huge clots, contractions up the wazoo. That whole week just was like when I had a natural miscarriage. I was so confused. I was like, I thought I had a DNC. I thought they took all this stuff out. Why am I in so much pain? Why is all this TMI, like, why is all this blood in chunks? Why all this stuff coming out? Didn't they take that out? I was kind of shocked. And I wasn't expecting it. And yeah, it was a little scary, but not as scary as the first time I miscarried, because at least I remembered that that's what it was like when I miscarried naturally. I was just kind of confused as to what exactly they took out when they gave me the DNC, if I was having all this come out now, but whatever. The contractions were really bad. Percocet was not taking care of the pain. I really should have gone in, because they told me if the pain was so bad Percocet wasn't working to go in, but I didn't. I just didn't go in. I just trucked through it, and as soon as I passed all the clots, that pain was gone and done with. The next pain I got was a chest pain, which again, I should have gone into the emergency room, but I didn't. It wasn't up here. It was kind of boobs. The pain was right here. It was kind of just in this general region, and it was really bad, and it was for 3 straight days, 24 hours a day for 3 straight days. I basically lived with a heated gel pad on my chest, and I couldn't like move like this. I just physically couldn't do it. I laid on the couch and I was just in pain. I just didn't think anything of it. I don't know, I just assumed. They said aches and pains. I thought, okay, aches and pains. I don't know, I just didn't go in. On the 3rd day, I was just so tired of the pain, I ended up calling the nurse, and no one answered, so I left a message. I told them what was going on. The next morning, on the 4th day, when I woke up, the pain was completely gone. And then the nurse called back, and she's like, oh my gosh, if you're having chest pain, you need to go to the ER now. Run, don't walk. And I was like, the pain's gone. I don't have it anymore. And she's like, I would still go if I was you, but if you don't want to, she's like, definitely go if it comes back. And I was like, okay. Well, that pain never came back. Okay, so after the chest pain was gone, next up came the ass pain. I had crazy gas pain. I'm talking, this gas pain was the worst pain of my entire life. I would rather give birth to children than have this pain. Like, the pain between contractions during labor and these gas pains, the gas pains were way worse, hands down, no questions asked. I was on the floor screaming in pain. It would kind of start in my stomach, and it was around an 8 or a 9, and I couldn't talk, I couldn't stand up, and then it would leave the stomach, like the pain, for just a second, and it would immediately go to my bum. And that pain was on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst pain of your life. It was so far past the 10, I can't even count that high. I was just screaming on the floor. And Neil was freaking out. He didn't know what to do. He wanted to take me to the emergency room. He's like, oh my gosh, gas pain just shouldn't be this bad. But I was like, you know, what are they gonna do? It's gas pain. And so I took Gas X and I just trucked through it. Okay, so then after the gas pain, that's when I started getting tachycardia. Tachycardia, for those of you who don't know, is an unusually high, your heart beating fast. So a normal person heartbeat is between 80 and 100, and mine just, it felt like I would just be sitting on the couch relaxing, watching TV, and it would feel like I just ran a 10K. Like, it was just pounding, and I was breathing heavy. It was like shortness of breath. I was just sitting on the couch, just relaxing, and I was like, and my heart was just pounding out of my chest. So we went to the ER. well, actually, I called the doctor because I had been having more gas pain. And they were like, are you having any other discomfort? And I was like, my heart's beating extremely fast and I haven't done anything and it's hard to breathe. And they were like, go to the emergency room right now. They completely dismissed my butt pain, which is the worst pain ever. But they just heard chest pain or, you know, shortness of breath and stuff. So I went to the emergency room. I had an MRI, I had an EKG, and when I first got there, my heartbeat was normal. So they just wanted to monitor me for an hour, but once they had me relaxing in a bed, my heart started racing again, and then the machine started going off, and they ran in, and they were like, do you feel like you're gonna pass out? Is your chest hurting? Like, they were freaking out. I look at the monitor, and my heart, I'd been laying there, I don't know, I'd been laying there for a couple hours, so I hadn't moved. I was just resting, and my heartbeat was 134 beats a minute, which is too high, is way past being too high for a normal person. So they didn't know what was going on. They gave me a bunch of blood tests. I had another EKG while it was actually happening, and they just couldn't figure out why my heart was beating so hard and so fast. And they said all my blood tests came back normal. My MRI came back normal. Yeah, everything, the EKG only showed that my heart was beating fast, but it didn't show any other reason. So they just eventually had to send me home because they ruled out anything life-threatening, and they said other than that, you know, you just... Anyways, I have a follow-up with my doctor tomorrow for the heartbeat thing. Yesterday was a bad day. My heart was just racing all day long. Today has been a good day, and I don't think it has done it at all today, so that's good. I'm no longer having any cramping, and the gas pain, I did have some gas pain yesterday. That was pretty bad, but not as bad as it was that 1 week after. But yeah, so I've just been having a crazy bad recovery post DNC. So anyways, that is why I have not been on YouTube, because my body is just having a monumental freak out stage right now. So yeah, I will see you all later. Bye. Yes. Hi guys, so I have some fun news to share with you. Today is technically Sunday. It's 1:32 a.m. but it's Sunday, March 30th, 2014, and on Thursday, March 27th, this happened. I took this one yesterday on the 29th. So, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Oh my gosh. So I'm 6 weeks now. That's my little baby belly. So excited about it. Hi. Hi. So today I am 8 weeks and 6 days, so tomorrow I will be 9 weeks.